Alright, what am I mad about today? Alright, let me keep this video short and sweet. I'm almost tired of using Godot right now. Let me tell you, these past 2 weeks been kind of a doozy just to get around using this engine for the first time in a long time. I haven't touched this engine since whenever 3.0 dropped, and that was technically the last time until now for me properly getting in and diving into the engine. So let me tell you about some pros about this engine. 1, the file size is pretty good. Never in my life I've seen an engine that this small with this amount of features packed into it. This is about 50 megabytes worth of content, and I'm using the mono version because I use C#, and I'll get back to that C# area in a minute. And number 2, I like how the editor looks. It's very clean, and you kind of easily know how to figure out where the layouts is. And another thing I like about this engine is I like the input system and the UI input system, because oh my goodness, when it comes to Unity and their input system is just all over the place, and it took them years to make a package to kind of fix up those issues that they already have with the old system, when they could have just fixed it years ago prior to them doing this. Matter of fact, Unreal got it right twice actually. They made Unreal 3, they made Unreal 4. Their input system is a lot more better. Even their UI input system is already better because they already recognize keyboard support and everything. Also, one more thing I forgot to mention. Another thing I do like about it is that it's able to run on super low level hardware. I'm planning on trying to make whatever kind of project I've been working on for at least the Raspberry Pi, because I'm trying to experiment a little bit and see how much low level I can get to using graphics API software, because I'm more of an artist. So I'm gonna try to see if I can at least get something super low level without doing too much work. And I think this is gonna be a good case, because I've seen on YouTube there's already stuff on there. Now, let me get into the main meat of the issue. Why I've been suffering immeasurably mentally using this engine, and it's for 2 fundamental reasons: the C# support and the node system that Godot uses for practically everything that the engine uses. You use nodes for your audio, you use nodes for your objects, you use nodes for your scripting, you use nodes for kind of most of the fundamental features that you're going to be using within this engine. And what makes me so mad about this is that once you get into the C# end of it, which I've been using for 2 weeks, and I originally was supposed to be using GD script, which is the main programming language that this engine has built in. Thing is, I dropped that quickly once I've been having issues making small prototypes, 2D prototypes. I mean, look at this. And this is just me using just the keyboard. And that's not me just starting and stopping. This is just how the input just looks when I'm using GD script. But when I'm using C# and I did the exact same thing, I translated the exact same motions, it works completely fine. It's just that. That's one thing I'm not mentally processing. Why is the exact same thing I'm doing right here works fine in my native language that I know works, but the one that comes built in, which is heavily recommended, and from what everybody else has been telling me is a lot more easier, doesn't even work when it's supposed to work. I don't know. Somebody down in the comments, tell me, what am I doing wrong in this situation? Maybe I probably might need to look in and maybe inspect the code base a little bit more, see what I messed up. But that's why I kind of dropped it. So since I was kind of saying, you know what? C# is probably the best way to go when it comes to running this engine. I know how to use it to a certain amount of degree, and I use Unity with it. So might as well try to transfer over some projects that I've been working with. A project I've been working with was a basic character model viewer for a game that I've been planning to work on, but I say like, you know what, let me put this on the back burner so I can work on some of my other projects I've been working on for Unity, especially my 10th anniversary project. So I'm trying to see how that works out. But I said like, you know what, I want to see if I can try Godot's way of doing things. So I stuck with it for 2 weeks, and a couple things with C# support is this thing is barely documented. Like, even when there's like documentation for it, like for fundamentals, there's like certain shortcuts that is in GD script that is not transferred over into C#. And not even looking through the documentation don't even tell you anything. The documentation, like if you like explicitly look for certain terms, like for like getting a node or something like that within the scripts, getting a node from one object to another object so they can communicate each other so one function can work. It can't even do that unless you do it the long way around. I mean, that's not bad and all, but I'm trying to condense this as much as possible. And this leads into another issue with the node system. When it comes to using signals, why is it priority based? Why is this thing priority based? Like, I'm trying to connect one button to another button. When it comes to me connecting one node to the main node using a signal, and that signal has the same output for another thing, like you're trying to communicate with two different things using that one node that you're trying to communicate with, it will single out the main node first but ignores the second one that you're trying to get to. So you're gonna have to find a way to like manage the priority system that they have in there, and that is getting on my nerves. So like, if I want to play one sound, play a sound for that button node I'm pressing, but also toggle visibility, I can't do both at the same time unless I make it into that one node. Put all that in one node, which is kind of disgusting because it's like I'm trying to put two separate functionalities in two separate areas, but now I got to put them in one thing. It's like, if this stuff breaks, it's like I kind of don't know what area is going to be messing up. So that's one thing I'm already hating about it. Also, speaking of sound, I don't even know how you play one-shot audio in here. Like, there's only one way that I can kind of cheap it a little bit, but it's only just going to play it one time, and that's it. I mean, logically speaking, that's what I want to do, right? But say if I wanted to use it on a button, and I say like I hover over it, right? If I do something like that, it's only going to play once, and it's never going to play again. But there are options in those signals that I've been looking at, right? That kind of like say, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do, right? And I put, say, like, and I get wherever my audio file is, right? Tell me why this audio keeps looping. And I'm saying like, why is the sound effect looping again? Checking my settings, saying turn off loop. I turn it off. Did the same thing again. Still looping. Why is this not a fundamental feature when it comes to audio? I get this is more of a visual and more of a programming thing, and audio is kind of like the lower end of the spectrum of what most game engines kind of focus on. But that should be one of the main things you're gonna have to figure out. There might be a bug within this thing. I don't know. But this is mainly my experience for the past 2 weeks that I've been getting on. And from these 2 weeks, I'm saying like, maybe there's some I'm not getting at. Maybe something I'm not fundamentally understanding. But from what it looks like to me, this is getting very agitating. And I'm kind of saying like, you know what? When it comes to like a bigger scale project or something like that, this may not be for me. It may not be for me, but I'll see if I can stick it out for maybe extra 2 weeks, see how I feel after that. But if I'm still feeling the same way, I'm just gonna drop it. I'm just gonna stick back to Unity and whatever kind of shenanigans I have with that. But that's all for what I'm trying to say right now. Thank you all for watching, and have a good day.